It's good to have you in here, Dr. Pecina, because we have a million different questions, and you do a better job of explaining exactly what you've done to bear SuperFan.
This is his first time here, and he's cool, calm, and collected. Jeremy's been in the studio about 150 times. That's how nervous he is.
Yeah, I know.
You guys make me that way.
What?
I said, you guys make me that way.
We do. I imagine that we probably do. Now, how many compliments, Jeremy, do you receive over the course of, let's just take Saturday, for example, on your new teeth? Just at the tailgate alone, how many?
About every other person?
Right, and that's about 500
Numerous times.
people. Yeah, because you look fantastic. Now, does everybody look that good, Dr. Pecina?
I would like to think so.
Or does everybody look better? Probably
No,
better. If you want to go better.
You know,
I feel
better. You know, we're just working on everything with Jeremy. It's not just his teeth. You know, it's the whole thing. We're trying to improve the package.
Right. You got a lot of work.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of work, and that
By the
you know,
way,
but it's a challenge.
Our,
but
our,
you know,
our thoughts and prayers are with whatever happened to his barber. We have a lot of work.
we're just trying to get him to sleep a little bit.
One of the more remarkable things about this is that we've known Jeremy for what 5-6 years now, and the first day we met him, we thought, holy crap, he doesn't have a single tooth. He has none.
No.
So it kind of became his thing. He was like our toothless buddy, and we had a lot of fun at his expense. And by
Dr. Pecina, do you have anyone you refer to as your toothless buddy?
Everybody no tooth is my friend.
that's a
Or
nice
potential.
That's right.
So the first time that Jeremy went in for his consultation, I went with him, and the way that you explained everything, I mean, it's a lot more complex but simple, but there's a lot that goes into it, because I just assumed, and Jeremy just assumed, that when you go in for dentures, basically they just slap them in your head, and they slap you on the fanny, and they say, go on. Good luck out there with your corn on the cob. But
Yeah,
you,
try not to bite your tongue.
Yeah, you explained everything on what to prepare yourself for, what mentally preparing yourself for, and then what it's like when you first get them, and then the aftercare as well. But you also described all of the health problems that go along with, being the toothless buddy.
And the first thing we think of when we have no teeth is, wow, so Jeremy has got a life sentence of eating gas station roller food because it's soft. What are some other things that happen to you, or that happen to your body when you don't have teeth that you don't even think about?
Well, there's a lot of people who have very few teeth or no teeth, and they'll tell you, well, I eat anything I want. I see patients all the time with no teeth that say they eat cashews. But eating and chewing and digesting are completely different things. You can get food in your mouth and get it down your throat.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it's in a form that where your internal system and your stomach and so forth is able to handle it.
So it might hurt your digestion. I'm trying to think of all the terrible things we fed him over there.
Right.
We probably shouldn't have, because
Right.
we thought it'd be fun.
That we're just kind of half eaten,
Yeah,
and then when those things are ripping through your digestive system, I mean,
Right.
it's not good for you.
No.
And it doesn't make you feel good.
And you told Jeremy his sleep was even affected.
Well, I do believe Jeremy has a sleeping issue. I think he also has sleep apnea.
Right.
I think we picked up on that the first time that he was in the office. I don't think he sleeps very well all through the night. I know that he has episodes of time where he wakes up, his body wakes him up, he snores, he has, that affects his breathing, and but getting the teeth is just like part one for him.
Right.
Because it's about him feeling better about who he is and getting comfortable with his teeth, and not just being able to eat with them, but being able to feel like he's a different person. It makes him want to be better. It makes him want to do things more for himself.
And we have noticed all of that from him in just the last month or so, that he's a different person than he was. Now, one of the really neat things, Dr. Pecina, by the way, from After Dental is in here this morning. One of the neat things was from that consultation was you showed us an x-ray about how when you don't have teeth and your mouth is trying to find a center, that obviously you had a center for a very long time when you had teeth, and then they're gone, your mouth is constantly, and that's part of his sleep problem, is where his jaw and the hinges and how it all works together, how it's not finding a resting place.
Right. Well, people always talk about TMJ. That's the joint that kind of affects right in front of the ear, that affects the way your jaw moves.
Right.
That's a very delicate situation with that joint. So when you have all of your natural teeth, your bite has a place where it goes where it always feels comfortable. As you lose teeth, and this is not just somebody with no teeth, but this is someone who has lost 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth over a period of time, their bite actually shifts because their teeth move. So the teeth that they have left actually move, and now that changes their bite. Now, it doesn't happen to where one day it's this way and the next day it's not this way. It's a process. And so when your bite starts to shift, then that affects the joint, and that is what gives a lot of people pain in their joint, pain in their ears, pain in they get headaches from it, they get
Right, that's
neck
what Jeremy
aches
has.
from it.
Right.
Correct.
And so all of this is helping recenter all of that, and it's allowing him to sleep more. And
It makes his face look different because your jaw muscles. It does. It makes it because his jaw muscles are doing different things now, and it's starting to make his face look a little bit
Right.
different. One of the I don't know. Well, it wasn't like sad, but it was one of those things you don't think about. Like the first day he had teeth. The first day I saw him with teeth, he didn't know how to smile because when you lose all your teeth, you do that thing where you're sort of smiling, your mouth is open, but you're also masking the fact that you don't have a single tooth in your noggin. And he was still smiling like that when he got his teeth, so he had to learn to smile again. And then he said he went home, and these 17 Rottweilers that he lived with, his dogs were all angry with him and didn't recognize him because he looked different because he had teeth. And I was like, oh, he's got teeth and his dogs don't even recognize him.
I heard they were afraid because he might be able to bite it back now.
Well, yeah.
That might be one of those things.
We were also worried for a while because you've armed him now, so he can bite us. And see, you can hear it.
I think one of the things, Jeremy, is that we spent a lot of time before we even started anything to get him to understand his situation and to help him to prepare himself, not just for getting the teeth, but for what he can expect after the teeth. And so it's with the process that we use, we're a partner in this process. Where Jeremy and I were partners in getting him to the point where he's at right now.
Right.
And if you notice, when he first got his teeth, he was trying to kind of, get comfortable and start figuring it out. But Jeremy is a remarkable patient. I mean, he just, he took to these things. But I do think that a lot of that was our preparation and the things that we did to get him to understand what exactly it was that we expected from him.
Right. Yeah, because it's a two-way street, and that's what we talked about earlier was, I think, just a lot of, they just slap them in there and go. But you took all that time and told them exactly, here's what you're going to do, here's the steps, here's what you take, and this is how we're going to do this together.
Well, we have to keep in mind, this is a prosthesis.
Right.
This is no different than it would be if you lost a limb or some other part of your body.
Yeah, it's still something new you have to get used to.
Yeah, and it affects so many different things, like his speech and his ability to chew and the way his jaw lines up. So when we were working with Jeremy to try to get his bite to get back to where we wanted it to be, what we tried to do is we tried to find like his happy spot,
right.
A place where he's comfortable. We can get him to that place. That's really, really critical, and that's why a lot of people struggle with their dentures, is because they have their dentures, but the bite isn't necessarily where it needs to be to get them to function properly and to be comfortable. And it's a very, very fine-tuning process. It isn't something where you can just put the teeth in there and your body will adjust to it. That's not necessarily true.
Right.
And as your bone deteriorates, that biting process changes. So that's why you have people that have had dentures for the same dentures for 20, 30 years, even though they may be functioning with those dentures okay, but that doesn't mean necessarily that their bite is in the right place.
Wow. I didn't expect that to be. I thought if you had them in there for that long, that they were doing what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, the mouth is continually changing. It changes every day. It ages just like it's aging with the rest of your body.
Right.
So it is constantly in a state of change. It is not something that you will notice. But what happens, because the muscles in your neck, in your face, and your lips they will adjust to it as you go along. Because the process is a slow period of change. But over a period of 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that change can be significant.
Right.
And then when you go back and people say, well, I have a hard time adjusting my new dentures. My old dentures were great. I could eat anything with them. Well, that's because their mouth and their dentures, they aged all at the same time. When you put a new denture in and you get somebody who's had dentures before and you're starting new and you try to reestablish what their bite situation is, that they have to understand that the change is immediate then. It's not like when the dentures wear down for so long, now all of a sudden we put you back to where you need to be, and that's why people struggle sometimes when they get their new teeth.
Right. Wow, I didn't, like we said, very complex. But it's simple, but, very complex. I had no idea that much went into it.
And now, when Jeremy is saying dumb things to Jason and I, it doesn't appear, as dumb as it used to because
it seems slightly smarter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's not all that good.
Well,
Yeah, we don't want to reinvent who he is here. Okay.
Before we were like, you can't talk to us like that, and now we think, well, maybe he can talk to us like that just a little bit.
All right, you have a few minutes to hang out, right, Dr. Pecina?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. We'll
If you
get
have
some more here.
if you have a question, you can text it in. Just text your message to 45364. We will pass it along to the good doctor. Some of our other friends have seen you too, so we can talk about that.
And we've got all the details on the Ultimate Tailgate Party for this Saturday coming up next.